Okay, so are you ready to dive into some serious myth? Buckle up, because we are heading straight back to ancient Greece, a world of gods and monsters and humans just trying to survive it
It's
all.
gonna be epic.
Absolutely epic. And today's deep dive is all about a lost paradise.
Paradise Lost, that's a good way to put it.
Right. We are talking about the Golden Age, this time of peace and abundance, and how it all came crashing down. And to help us unpack it all, we're turning to Texto Pagado, which actually looks at a few different versions of this myth. So we're going to get a bit of a nuanced view, I think, which is exciting. But before we get into who messed it all up, let's start with the good stuff.
Okay, so the good old days.
Right, the Golden Age. Paint me a picture. What did Texto Pagado say about this time?
Well, imagine a race of humans who never aged.
Never aged.
Never. They didn't even have to work.
Okay, sign me up. Where can I get some of that?
Right. It sounds pretty ideal. And they lived in a place called Arcadia, which was basically paradise on Earth.
Okay, so we've got immortal humans hanging out, no 9 to 5, living in paradise. This is the Golden Age. It does sound pretty good, but this is a story about how it all changes, right?
Yeah, and this is where it gets really interesting.
So who's the party pooper? Who messes all this up?
Enter Cronos.
Yeah.
And we got to remember who Cronos is. King of the Titans, these guys are power players.
They were even before the Olympian gods.
Exactly. Even before Zeus and that whole crew. Texto Pagado actually uses the word tyrant to describe Cronos.
So not a great guy, maybe not the best ruler.
Not the best, which kind of sets the stage for a little power struggle.
I'm going to say that sounds like a recipe for some conflict for sure.
Exactly, and that's where Zeus comes in. He leads this rebellion against Cronos, tricks him with a potion. That's a whole other story for another time.
Oh, we'll have to get into that.
And that is how the epic Titan War begins.
10 years of battle. I mean, that's not just a little scuffle. This is a full-blown cosmic rearranging kind of war.
Absolutely. And in the end, Zeus wins, establishes a new order, but victory comes at a price.
Doesn't it always? So what happens to our immortal, work-free humans living in paradise? What does Zeus do with them?
Well, according to Texto Pagado, Zeus decides that his new world, it doesn't really have room for immortal humans.
Interesting. So what does he do? Kick them out of Arcadia?
Who transforms them, actually, turns them into demons.
Demons. Wow, talk about a downgrade.
Right. These beings, they were once considered blessed, now suddenly they're relegated to a totally different realm. It really makes you think about how power can reshape narratives. Who gets to decide what's good and what's evil?
That's such a good point. It's not even like he wiped them out. He turned them into something else.
Exactly. Very different.
It's a huge shift. Okay, so no more immortal humans in paradise. What happens next? Who does Zeus create to populate the world?
This is where we get the humans we're familiar with. The humans of the Silver Age.
Silver Age, which, let's be honest, doesn't have quite the same ring to it as the Golden Age.
No, not quite as glamorous. And this transformation, it really highlights that shifting dynamic between gods and humans. It's a reminder that progress, even in mythology, often comes with a price. You know, there are always trade-offs.
Always trade-offs. And for humanity, in this case, it's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
But there's more to the story, right?
Yeah.
Texto Pagado gets into some interesting details that I don't think we want to gloss over. Like, what happens to the Titans?
Oh, right. Well, they don't just get to go on vacation after losing the war. They get imprisoned.
Of course,
Oh.
banished to the darkest corner of, wherever. And then there's that whole bit about Zeus and the gifts he receives, right? Was it a helmet of darkness?
Yeah, pretty badass, right? I think all of that just adds another layer of complexity. It's not just about good versus evil. It's ambition, victory, yeah. But there's also consequences.
There are always consequences. All right, so we've got this lost paradise, a cosmic power struggle, humans stuck in the middle of it. What's the takeaway for our listeners? Why does this matter? Why should they care?
This myth isn't just a cool story. It's an allegory. It's reflecting on time. It's about progress, how everything changes, and it's not always for the best.
Bittersweet progress, I like that.
Right. And it really makes you wonder, can utopia, like a true utopia, can it ever actually exist? Or is it always just out of reach?
It's a great question to think about.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about our own age. I mean, if the Golden Age is this ideal past and the Silver Age marks a step away, where do we fall? What age are we living in right now? Food for thought, listeners, food for thought.